I mean, obviously I do have worries. You know, am I a good father? Am I a father? Because I'm not with them on the day-to-day. That's all right. After what happened, that's only to be expected, and that's out of my control. I mean, when they send an astronaut into orbit, does that make him less of a father because he's in space? And he's thousands of miles away. You know, I mean, I'm just down the M4. In that sense, I'm actually very hands-on. I send messages constantly to my smashers, like Neil Armstrong, you know, on the moon. Actually, another thing I have over him is that I can be in constant contact, because of course when he went on the dark side of the moon, there was no communication then, but with my mobile, I can be firing in calls all over the place. With the notable exception of John Lewis, the shop on Oxford Street. The reception there is very poor. Apart from the changing room area of the ladies' lingerie department. I know. The mobile phone is like a postcard, but for a letter, I use this, which is a little tape recorder, and I basically just record stuff when I'm out and about for the boys, just different places that I'd like to go with them. And then what I do is I store them all in this. This is my box of cassettes, like that. Windsor Castle, Chessington, Longleat, all the places that I would like to go and I think they'd like to go. That's the leaves. This is actually quite educational as well. It's not just fun. You are going to learn something, because I'll point out the trees and...
Next tree before we get there.
There we are.
Let's see what this one is. Common Beach.
Common
Agus
Beach.
Sylvatica.
And that's the sorry.
I didn't know that was the real name. Come on, I'll sit on the end, and then you go next to me here.
Not really with me. I just, you know, I just say that for them so they can imagine it. In this sort of age of telecommunications, of digital technology, they're able now to be with me. It's almost as though I'm on a computer game with them or something like that. I'm like a virtual dad. Virtual dad. That's what it is. And you know, in many ways, I think kids would prefer that, because they say, "Oh, not again, Dad, not again." But with virtual dad, they can switch me off if they want to. Mrs. Trapolin and Fisher have gone away for the weekend. I think a bit of bonding time together to Monte Carlo. But I've got quite a nice day in store as well, because Eric and Joan, the couple that I live with, it's their wedding anniversary today. So we are having a day out in Brydon. We're going to the seaside, which is fantastic. Paddling, feet in the water, that sort of thing. And then tonight, and I showed it to them this morning, you should have seen their faces, I bought us 3 tickets to go and see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I mean, I had parents, you know, don't get me wrong, and I will never forget my parents, but they were taken from me at a relatively young age. And so Eric and Joan, they're not surrogate parents, but they fill that role. This is Eric's idea. That's all right. Special day. She wanted me to look the part, and well, that's what they're doing. They're getting ready now. They're not quite ready yet. A little bit behind schedule, but it's a big day. It's a big day. A 42nd wedding anniversary. I mean, no gift for that. No set gift. It's in between 40th ruby, 45th, which is sapphire. So Marion and I made it to tin. I could have gone around with Eric and Joan, I think, if I'd asked. I think I could have put a case forward and persuaded them, but do I want to? I don't think I want to. I think I'm in Brighton, and I don't think I really want to walk around with, at the end of the day, an elderly couple. Because I like to kick back a bit and see the other side of Brighton.
What do you seek, you people gazing at me? You see a doll on a music box that's wound by a key.
What I'm going to do is going to go under the roller coaster and record it for my little smashers.
How can you tell I'm under a spell?
Well, there's something I've never done before. I have my fortune told. Quite spooky actually. Dark hair, all very gypsy-like, sort of like an older version of Cher. And she didn't look at my hand or anything like that. Everything just looking into this crystal ball, staring into it. And I wasn't giving anything away, you know, in my reaction to her. I was keeping it very blank because I wanted to test her. But she passed the test. It was eerie. One thing, there we are. One thing she did slip up on was she said, "You have one child." That was a waste of money, actually. Tarot cards, and again, you know, one child.
I'm turning around and around.
That was incredible. Unbelievable. Palm. Absolutely astonishing. I feel a bit spooked by it. He told me when I was born. He told me the year my parents died. He told me the year I got married. He got Marion's initials. He said the letter G was very important in my life. It was phenomenal. The only thing again was this one child thing. They all fall down. Ta-da! This is it. Eric and Jones Hotel. Unbelievable. They found it. Still in the same place. 42 years on. They've actually gone in and they've rented a room. I think that's smashing. Right. Now then, a pickle. I'll be very honest. I don't want to keep in the car tonight. They're renting it by the hour. They'll be in there now. The memories flooding back for them. That's lovely, isn't it? Well. This is becoming a grand tour. We are now visiting Mr. and Mrs. Hopkins, a couple that Eric and Joan have not seen for 21 years. But but from what I've heard on the way, a remarkable couple, particularly Mr. Hopkins, a remarkable man, big fella, a wood man, actually built that veranda himself. Incredible fellow. So they're in there now having a little chat, and we'll take it from there, really. Well, we have another passenger on board, Mrs. Hopkins, Muriel, a lovely lady, and a very difficult time for her. 2 months ago, apparently it happened, but she's soldiering on, as she says, rattling around the house on her own. So it was Joan's idea. Come on, she said, back to London, you're coming to stay with us, which I thought was lovely. And what we've done, which I think is nice, Eric came out and he said, look, we're going to play a bit of a trick on Muriel. We're pretending you're our chauffeur. So Eric's got me calling him and Joe Mr. and Mrs. Bartholomew, which I think is nice. So quick pit stop for them now, and I'll be nipping out and open the door. Mr. Bartholomew, Mrs. Bartholomew, Mrs. Hopkins, just to cheer her up, just to keep her smiling. Very sad about her husband, though.
A gentle breeze from Hushabye Mountain softly blows o'er Lullaby Bay. It fills the sails of boats that are waiting to sail your worries away.
It'll have started now, I'm pretty sure. They're all in there. Eric, Joan, Mrs. Hopkins. Not me, because, you know, you can hardly take your chauffeur into the theatre. As Eric said. I just said, Eric, you've said enough. You're absolutely right. The three of you go, and I shall pick you up. I said, watch out for the child catcher. If anybody offers you lollipops and you've got a long nose, say no. Unless it's a confectionery seller who just has a big nose, in which case don't draw attention to it. I remember it very clearly, although it was 2.5 years ago, which I find quite strange because I don't have a fantastic memory, but I do remember very clearly all the little things. It started with paint. The landlord wanted to redecorate. It was the end of term, and Declan and the boys would have been going off anyway, travelling, but I didn't know. They hadn't told me. So I'd literally hours to pack all my stuff, because they were going to gut it. All my stuff went into the car. My music centre, which I actually dropped, and I was a bit, that did annoy me. All my clothes, my suitcases, and Dad's tutu, I put that in, and I just drove. I didn't know where I was going to go. I thought, well, I'll just go to a B&B, somewhere cheap. And for no reason that I can think of, the next thing I'm on the Severn Bridge, and I'm in Cardiff. And, right, where am I going to go? I'm at Marion and Geoff's, and his car is not there. I had no idea he wasn't there. He was away on a course, and Marion was very, very welcoming. I still say it, she was very welcoming. It almost felt as though we'd never split up, but we had. And I sort of slotted in, really, to the role of dad. And I was doing all sorts. I took the boys to buy some transfers. And then I was flustered. I will say that. I was flustered because I was wondering, where I was technically homeless, where was I going to live? And I think if I hadn't had that on my mind, I would probably have caught him before he... It wasn't a very steep fall, and it was in a soft play area. You could challenge someone to break their arm, and they probably couldn't, but Alan fell in a very awkward way. And I knew straight away. I saw his arm, he came out holding it, and I saw it hanging, and I knew. So I caught Marion's eye, because she was having a coffee and reading a magazine. I got Alan in my arms, and he's saying, he's asking me, is my arm broken? I said, no, don't worry, it's all right. I gestured Marion over, and I said, right, go and get the car, because it's a fair old walk to the car. We're about to go, and one of the mothers says he hasn't got his shoes on, because when you come into soft play, you put all your shoes into a big basket. So Marion started actually fishing amongst the basket. I said, that doesn't matter. I said, leave that, go and get the car. And I followed after Marion, carrying Alan all the way out to the car, which was quite... She couldn't get back because there were bollards in the way. It was a long walk. I was running, trying not to jig his arm. Once we got in the car, that was it. I was in the back with Alan on my lap, and Rhys and Marion were up front, and she was just storming. It was like something out of Holby City. Or better now, ER. We were just through those streets. We were at the hospital in seconds flat, and she pulled right up outside in an ambulance bay. She opened the door, we got out, and straight away someone was there saying, you can't park here. Well, she almost had them over the bonnet. So I got him into the main area, and it was like a third world country in there. And they were telling me it's going to be 4.5 hours. So I said, well, all right, fine. Can you give me some paracetamol? And would you believe it? They had run out. So we sat down with him on my lap, and I was trying to tell him a story, but my brain was absolutely razzled, and then in came Marion. It's amazing what a raised voice can do. We were with a doctor in about 2 minutes who gave him paracetamol. It was a very, very bad break, but they set it. 8 hours in all we were there from the minute we walked in the door, almost a full 8 hours. We were not back at the house until 10 o'clock. And that's when I sort of took over, really. I said, right, no bath, don't need a bath, both of you. I cooked up some beans on toast, read them a story from a book that was mine as a child and that I hadn't seen for a long time, off like 2 lights. A kiss each. And then when I came back downstairs, Marion was cooking. She can only cook one dish, which is moussaka, but it is, to this day, the best moussaka you will taste. It is better than any Greek restaurant. And I'd started before her, quite rudely. She was about to, I remember it vividly, about to, when the phone went, and it was Geoff. So she's telling the whole story of our day, with one exception, and that's me. And she went off then into the other room to talk to him, and was gone for 12 minutes. And when she came back, very much so. And I thought, right, how am I going to play this? I didn't want to add to the trouble. I didn't want to add... It was already very upsetting, and I thought, well, if I'm put in this pot now as an extra ingredient, Geoff may not like the taste of that. I slept on the sofa, which I found quite uncomfortable. Not the sofa itself, it's a lovely sofa. I found it uncomfortable because of the smells of the room. Isn't that strange? The smells of the room were the same smells as when I lived there, and I found that a bit... I was out like a light at 4, but then it was just after 6. You see that that he woke, floods of tears, and his arm then swollen up like a balloon. And Marion then, she was in charge. She said, right, she got him in the car. She was gone with him before I had a chance. I was very groggy, I'll be honest. I'm not proud of myself. I was groggy. And then Rhys, my eldest, woke up at about 8:30, like a teenager, to find just his dad with him in the house. And I have to say, we had a very lovely time, a lovely morning. We had breakfast together, and then we're just playing with a lot of his stuff, like the old days. Then there's keys in the door, which I assume to be Marion. So I go out to the hallway, and I'm looking at Geoff, who doesn't say a word. And I thought, well, I'm not going to say anything yet. So eventually he says, I'm waiting. He says, well, I'm waiting, meaning, for an explanation. When did you get here? And I stupidly said that I'd been down all weekend. And it was rude. He asked me to go. He just straight out asked me to go there and then. He didn't ask me. Let's be realistic. He told me. He said, right, well, you can get out now. That's all right. That's his house. So I was in the car, about to turn the key, when I hear the door opening of the house, and there he is, bringing out Rhys. Geoff opened the passenger door and said, you can take him with you. And slammed the door quite sharply behind my boy, who didn't say a word, was very, very quiet, as is his wont. That's all right, that's how he is, And, all right, I thought, fine, right. We went. Right, I said. We're going to have an adventure. We started off on the motorway, and I said, right, we're Bonnie and Clyde. I said, we're desperados, keep an eye out for bandits. And we're along the motorway, and fairly soon, I should have realised, because I noticed people as they were coming past slowing down and looking, first of all. Then I noticed they're slowing down, they're pointing at the back of the car. I didn't have a puncture, the car felt fine. I didn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. Flashing blue lights. I thought, someone's for it. Right in the mirror, they're pulling me over, they're waving me over. The penny hasn't dropped at this point. I pull in and then look back. Rhys is sitting there with Dad's rifle. Bloody hell. There were 4 different officers, all armed, all pointed at the car, and yet Muggins here felt very safe, because you don't think they're pointing them at you. A policeman with a gun, to me, is on my side. He's after the guy in the black hat. I was unwittingly wearing the black hat. I had this hat on, I didn't know it. What they wanted, of course, was for Rhys to come out of the car. He didn't want to, because he'd had a roller coaster of a few days, and he felt safe with his dad. So I tried talking to him to try and make it into a game. Like when you try and give him food and you say the train is coming into the station. I said, come on, now you've got a delivery to make. Walk over to those men. They want to see you. They've got something for you. And of course, I opened the door to try and encourage him to go, and that was when I noticed the silence. It was eerily silent. They'd shut down the motorway, which was good, otherwise I would never have sent him out. He started to walk towards the main police car where they were clustered, and then he turned round and started to come back. They started shouting. I was out like a shot, met like that, just trying to tell him everything was all right. And that was when I felt very strong hands on my shoulders. And all right, I apologise now as I apologised then, time and time again. It wasn't that policeman doing that. It was the paint. It was loading the car. It was the broken arm. It was Geoff. And all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. Then, of course, all sorts of oddness and strangeness, and new friends. So busy. I don't see Reese for 2 years. More than that. Or Alan. So his arm, of course, fully healed. Not a trace of anything. I'd like to think that's because I acted quickly, but I would imagine it's not. I would imagine it's more likely the gene pool. By which I mean Marion. Nearly time now. They shall be out. The children safely returned from the trial catcher. So I shall... Eric wants me to pull up outside, fully hatted, he said.
Right, we're on the roller coaster, and I'm going to talk you through it. Oh,
It isn't
up
far
we go.
to
Up the
Hushabye
apples and pears.
Mountain, and your
Quite high.
boat waits down by the quay.
Just getting to the top now.
The winds of night
Here we
so
go.
softly are
Just round the
sighing.
corner. Don't you worry
Soon
about
they
it.
will
We'll be all
fly
right.
your troubles
Hey,
to
Daddy's got you.
see.
And we're going to be... Oh!
So close your eyes on Hushabye Mountain. Wave goodbye to cares of the day.
There we are!
Watch your boat from Hushabye Mountain sail far away from Lullaby Bay.
Oh, there we are, it's finishing. It's all done. That was lovely.